From top to bottom, this show's going to be fantastic. I'm your host. I'm Jeremiah Hughes. I'm happy to be in Tacoma. I'm happy to be in any city, really, because I come from a poor little town called Aberdeen, Washington. This section can, oh God, you can smell the poverty on me, sir. For those of you that don't know, Aberdeen, Washington's a poor little town where Kurt Cobain and Nirvana came from. It's a town so dirty and poor it created grunge music and rock. So, yeah, it's fun. Growing up in a little town like that, you know, it was always super annoying. Because anytime anyone heard Aberdeen, they thought of Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. But it's like Aberdeen has more going for us than that, you know? Like Aberdeen, Washington was recently voted the ugliest city in Washington. So, for the third time in a row. So don't come for our title, you will get robbed at the Needle Point, guys, okay? All I'm trying to say is where I come from, those tents have front porches, they're staying, guys, okay? But people that don't know I come from an area like that will take one look at a guy that looks like me and they'll be like, hey man, you need to check your privilege. Because not everyone's from a gated community, dude. I'm always surprised. I'm like, how did you know I'm from the only gated trailer park in Aberdeen? The only other gated community where I come from is called Stafford Creek Penitentiary. So, I'm able to, travel around, do comedy quite a bit. It's really fun. I was in Spokane a couple weeks ago. I said I was from Aberdeen, Washington, and everyone laughed at me. You know how bad your hometown has to be for Spokane to laugh at you? I was like, dude, I have eyes, guys. It's bad. But I get to travel all over. Like, I get to do all sorts of different shows. It's fun. I actually get to do a lot of different benefit shows. Like, I've helped raise thousands of dollars for the Humane Society. I've helped raise money for the Wish Foundation. But one of the best benefits I've ever wanted to give to and that I've had the pleasure of doing numerous times was I got to go through different prisons throughout Washington State and donate my time to the inmates. It was really fun. Thank you, yeah. It was fun to give back. And a lot of comedians want to do shows like that because they know laughter is the best medicine. They know that people deserve to laugh no matter what. I wanted to do a show like that because finally the crowd can't leave. They all loved me, given my poor background. So after the show, people would want to come up to me and bond with me. And they said, hey, man, this guy came up to me one time. He said, hey, man, I know Aberdeen. That's where I was arrested at. I was like, ugh. Also, me too. What's up, dude? I don't want to harp on Aberdeen for a long time, but I do want to close Aberdeen section with this. Like, when you come into Aberdeen, some of you guys might know, there's a big sign that says, come as you are. It's a Kurt Cobain song. That's our town motto, terrible motto for Aberdeen. We're full on mutants. I think if I had to pick the hometown motto for Aberdeen, I'd pick something fun and creative, but also brutally honest. Like, I think the hometown motto for Aberdeen should be, welcome to Aberdeen. We put the win in heroin. A lot of people don't know when you come into Aberdeen, you see that sign. Everybody that lived in Aberdeen at the time got a vote for the hometown motto. And they picked Come As You Are, I think mainly because they couldn't use what came in second place. Because half of Aberdeen voted for it to be shoot for the stars, not your veins, Aberdeen, Washington. I love comedy. It's my favorite job I ever had. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life, which is just a polite way of saying I've been fired a lot. I got fired from drinking and working one time. I got called in the boss's office, like, Jeremiah, you can't be drinking and working. And I'm so much fun, I'm like, who's working, I've had a lot of jobs. Probably my favorite job I ever had was, I sold weed for 13 years. That's fun. But if that wasn't legal, so that doesn't count. The favorite legal job I ever had was I worked at a daycare for a little while. You look concerned, I'm sorry about that. They were safe. But, I don't have kids, but I learned really quickly there's two main types of kids. There's kids that hate getting dizzy, and kids that freaking love getting dizzy. There's, I call those kids the future alcoholics of America. Because just like regular alcoholics, those future alcoholics don't know when enough is enough. I got big life lessons at daycare. I gotta be like, Billy, we puked twice. we're getting close to what we call a blackout, okay? Now what we're gonna wanna do from personal experience is we're gonna wanna lay down and take a nap. So if we keep going, we're gonna poop our pants and get arrested. I was fired pretty quickly from that job too. But yeah, my dad, when I was a kid, my dad, he was an EMT, he was an ambulance driver. So the way he described his job to me as a kid was he said that driving an ambulance is a lot like driving a taxi, except you don't get the tips. Which you're right to laugh, that's a terrible analogy. Could you imagine if ambulance drivers took tips? And you're just getting rushed to the hospital and you see my dad just slide the little window open? And he's like, yeah, this iPad's gonna ask you a question actually. Dude, you gotta tip an ambulance driver too. Can you imagine saying no to a tip in an ambulance? And you just feel it slow down? I don't think driving an ambulance is anything like driving a taxi, but I do think driving an ambulance is a lot like driving DoorDash. Because the whole goal of either of those is you gotta get the delivery there before it gets cold. A smattering of applause for that. That joke's always a good barometer to see how cool you guys are. So, yeah, man. Being raised in the mid-90s, I always got bad advice from my parents. Like every time I got hurt, my parents would be like, don't worry, Jeremiah, chicks dig scars. Yeah. And I wish they were honest about what scars chicks actually dug. Because I've never once been laid off of those emotional scars. Like, no one has ever came up to me in a bar and been like, wait, hold on. You were raised in a trailer park and denied food stamps? You got a bang right now, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm open to it happening, but it's never happened, okay? So, I still get bad advice, too. I was flying to Las Vegas last year to compete in the World Series of Comedy. My buddy came up to me and said, hey, man, you need good luck. You gotta burn sage, because burning sage is super good luck. And I didn't know that burning sage you owned yourself was considered really bad luck. And I learned that way too late when my cat died. So rest in peace, Sage, I'm gonna miss her. Don't go back on your agreement. That joke's a good barometer, see how far I can take it. So, yeah, man, I just celebrated 7 years with my girlfriend recently. I love her very much. She's a great person. Thank you. Yeah, she's different than me though. Very different personalities. Like for example, she's very adventurous. Like she likes her food, like she likes her sex, spicy. And just like the food, the sex leaves my ass hurting in the morning. So. Takes different types of people, you know? But being with a lady, you know, for 7 years, dudes that are married can attest, like you gotta start picking up new hobbies. So I picked up a new hobby recently. It's flirting with dudes. How you doing, handsome? You look good. Okay, yeah. Like it started out as a joke, but then I quickly realized how badly men need compliments. Don't get sad, because it's funny, trust me. Because the default reaction anytime you hit a stranger with, hey, what's up, handsome? Is there always like, hey? For real? You did it right there, it was adorable. And the older the dude, the more they appreciate the compliment. You know, I said, what's cooking good looking to an old guy the other day? He kissed me and gave me a hug. What was that? It was assault, that's what that was. So here's a PSA for the ladies in the audience, right? Like, dudes are starved for attention. That's why we sneeze so freaking loud, okay? It's a cry for help. Next time you see a dude sneeze at the top of his lungs, don't say God bless you. Give him a blowjob. That's what he needs. All right, calm down, sir. Yeah. I was driving into Aberdeen not too long ago. I saw a reader board. It said April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, which I think is stupid, because those kids are well aware. after his again. I can tell. It's fine. It's always the people that clam up that came from a good childhood. I drove by and I just thought to myself, I'm like, what parents are that advice for? And they need a reminder not to hit their kid in April? I go, what type of parent is that for? And I realized, oh, it's for a dad in Aberdeen, in a Walmart. Where he's like, sit down, shut up, look at me, you're lucky too. Yeah, man. My dad is from, he's a redneck from Montana. So, yeah, so the way he raised me was a little more hands-on than most kids. Like, for example, when I was in trouble, he'd grab me by the back of the neck. Or as he calls it, the Montana steering wheel. We have fun, you know? I remember this one time I had an ear infection, and he had to take work off, he was pissed. And when we got there, he grabbed me by the back of the neck, Montana steering wheel, and he reeled me in, and he was like, boy, if you're not actually hurt, you're gonna be when I'm done with you. And I was scared. And I grew up to be a petty, petty man. Like, I cannot wait for my dad to be on his deathbed. So I'm gonna give him a Montana steering wheel when I get there, you know? I'm gonna reel him in, I'll be like, Pa, if you're not actually hurt, you're gonna be when I'm done with you. You get the punchline? I like that joke. Sometimes I just walk around my house and just unplug stuff and dream, you know? Don't feel bad for my dad, dude. He knows he's a handful, man. Like, when I was a kid, my mom would take me to her friend's house, Eric. And Eric is a kind, sweet, loving guy. He's the opposite of my dad. So the feelings I had for Eric were really confusing as a kid. Like, one day I went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, I think Eric should be my dad. Because I love Eric more than Dad. She handled it super well. She was like, shh. I love him more than Dad too. Don't mess this up. Which is extra funny as an adult, because I got a paternity test done and Eric is my dad. So I have great things happen to me all the time, man. Like, when I was a young man, I got LASIK eye surgery done. It was fun. I had to pay a lot of money. It was something I wanted to give back to myself, but I didn't give back enough. I got the cheapest LASIK eye surgery I could possibly find done. And here's a fun fact for you guys. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. There were a lot of red flags involved with my surgery. For example, the first thing I noticed when I sat down for my corrective eye surgery was I looked at my LASIK eye surgeon and noticed that he was wearing glasses. That's the blind leading the blind. That's messed up, dude. And I could let that go. Maybe his eyes didn't qualify. And then I sat down for the surgery, and then he walked up to me, and the first thing he said was, Sir, I offer elective prayers before the surgery. Would you like me to pray for you today? You should be terrified if a doctor says that, dude. Do you know something I don't? And I was off. I was nervous. I was like, no, I'm okay. And I wish I took the prayer, because my eyes turned out just as bad after the surgery. That's the last time I get LASIK done in a church in Aberdeen. So, that dude was handsy. You want a weird spot with that, guys? Okay. My aunt's from Montana as well. So when I was a kid, they would take me to the family ranch in Ekalaka, Montana, to learn how to buck hay and do chores and be a man. One of my least favorite chores at the end of a long day was I had to give my aunt a shoulder massage. Yes. Which was one of my least favorite chores, because after a couple whiskeys, she got a little into that shoulder massage. Yeah. If I hit that knot just right, she'd lean back and she'd be like, ooh, yeah. I don't know why she was Randy Savage in that, but that's how it felt. And it was weird. Like, I don't know what the hardest part of that was, besides me. Little Montana humor, relax. But seriously, at 12, I didn't have the communication skills to tell my aunt that makes me uncomfortable, please stop. So I did the only thing I can think of to make it stop, which is to make it extremely uncomfortable for both of us. And so when I hit that knot just right, she leaned back and she was like, ooh, yeah. I just leaned in her ear and I was like, yeah? And that worked way too well. She still hasn't talked to me, so. I'll leave you guys on my favorite joke. This is my favorite joke I ever wrote. It's not for everybody. This is you guys laughed at. Certain jokes I can tell you guys are gonna like this one. I put my foot in my mouth a lot, man. I embarrassed myself. I got a new phone number recently. The person that had the phone number before me died. It was weird. I was getting texts and calls for a dead person, which was weird enough, and then the mom texted me. She was like, honey, I can't bear to delete this phone number. I miss you, I love you, fly high, mom. And I didn't know what to say to a text like that. Blurred immediately what I should not have said to a text like that. Because I just responded, love you too, mom. And she was pissed, you know? I had no choice but to ghost her like her dead daughter. I'm kidding, I sent her a dick pic instead. Is that better? That's enough out of me, guys. Thank you so much for your time.